Resentment rarely appears all at once. It usually builds quietly from swallowed complaints, repeated disappointment, uneven effort, and conversations that never fully happen. By the time it becomes obvious, the relationship may already feel heavy. Resentment is stored anger mixed with a sense of unfairness. It often says, "I have carried too much for too long, and you do not see it." That feeling can exist in couples, families, friendships, and work relationships. One common source is unequal labor. If one partner handles the planning, cleaning, emotional support, scheduling, bills, and remembering, they may not explode right away. But every unnoticed task can become another deposit in the resentment account. Invisible labor is especially painful because it disappears when done well. The appointment is remembered, the groceries appear, the birthday gift is bought, and nobody sees the mental tracking behind it. Another source is broken promises. A single broken promise can hurt. A repeated promise to change, followed by the same behavior, teaches the other person to stop believing the words. Trust does not break only from betrayal, it can erode from repetition. Broken promises are especially damaging when they sound sincere in the moment. The hurt person may believe the promise again and again until belief itself starts to feel foolish. Resentment grows when people minimize their own needs for peace. Someone may say, "It is fine," when it is not fine. They may avoid conflict today and pay for it later with distance, sarcasm, or emotional shutdown. The phrase, "it is fine," can become dangerous when it is used to avoid honesty. If the same hurt keeps getting renamed as fine, the relationship loses the chance to respond while the problem is still small. Unspoken expectations also create resentment. One partner may expect help without asking. The other may not notice. The hurt person then feels abandoned, while the other person feels punished for failing a test they did not know existed. Resentment changes how neutral moments are interpreted. A late reply is no longer just a late reply. A forgotten chore is no longer just a forgotten chore. It becomes part of a larger story. "You never think about me." Resentment changes memory too. Once the story becomes, "I am alone in this," the person may remember every failure more strongly than every effort. The relationship is then filtered through accumulated hurt. That story may contain truth, but resentment can make it rigid. The resentful person may stop seeing exceptions. Even kind actions can be dismissed as too little, too late, or only done because they complained. The other person may feel confused because the reaction seems bigger than the moment. They may say, "Why are you so upset about this one thing?" But it is not one thing. It is the latest thing sitting on top of many earlier things. Resentment often produces indirect communication. Instead of saying, "I need more help," the person sighs, withdraws, makes jokes, becomes cold, or criticizes small details. The real complaint leaks out sideways. Indirect communication is often resentment trying to escape without risking direct vulnerability. The sigh or joke may carry a real complaint, but it does not give the relationship a clean repair path. One reason resentment is hard to fix is that the resentful person may want the other person to notice without being told. Being asked to explain the hurt can feel like doing even more emotional labor. Still, unspoken resentment rarely repairs itself. The relationship needs a clear conversation before the resentment becomes contempt. Contempt says, "You are the problem." Resentment says, "This has been unfair for too long." The earlier stage is easier to repair. A useful conversation starts with specifics. "I need help with bedtime 3 nights a week," is clearer than, "You never help." Specific requests give the other person something to do and give the relationship something to measure. Specific requests protect both people. The hurt person no longer has to hope the other person guesses correctly, and the other person no longer has to decode resentment through tone, silence, or sarcasm. The listener's response matters. If they become defensive, the resentment may deepen. If they become curious and accountable, the conversation can soften. The first goal is not winning, it is understanding the pattern that created the stored anger. Curiosity from the listener can lower the temperature quickly. A sentence like, "Help me understand when this started feeling unfair," invites the history of the resentment instead of fighting only about the latest incident. Repair requires changed behavior, not only empathy. The hurt person may appreciate being understood, but resentment usually fades when the unfair pattern actually changes. Words open the door. Repeated action rebuilds trust. The resentful person also has work to do. They may need to speak earlier, state needs directly, and stop collecting evidence silently. This is not about blaming them for being hurt. It is about giving the relationship a chance before the ledger becomes too long. Speaking earlier is not the same as complaining constantly. It means bringing the issue while it is still small enough to repair without years of stored anger attached to it. Old resentments need patience. If the pattern lasted years, one helpful weekend will not erase it. The person who caused harm may want quick forgiveness, but the hurt person may need time to see consistency. Some resentment reveals incompatibility or deeper harm. If one person refuses accountability, mocks needs, or benefits from the unfair pattern, the issue may not be communication. It may be a relationship structure that keeps one person depleted. The practical warning sign is emotional bookkeeping. If someone is constantly counting who did what, who noticed, who cared, and who failed, resentment is already active. That is the moment to talk, not months later. Resentment builds quietly, but it does not have to end the relationship. When unfairness is named early, responsibility is shared honestly, and behavior changes consistently, stored anger can slowly turn back into trust. Resentment can hide behind competence. The person who keeps everything running may look strong, organized, and calm. Inside, they may be keeping score because nobody notices the weight they carry. Competence can delay the conflict, but it does not erase the need. Competence can hide resentment for years. The person who manages everything may be praised for being reliable while privately wishing someone would notice the cost of that reliability. Small dismissals matter because they teach the hurt person what to expect. If concerns are mocked, minimized, or turned back on them, they may stop bringing things up. Silence then looks peaceful while resentment grows underneath. Repair often requires redistributing responsibility, not just saying thank you. Appreciation helps, but it does not replace changed behavior. If the same person keeps carrying the load, gratitude can start to sound like another way to avoid helping. The relationship improves when complaints become early signals instead of final explosions. A small honest conversation today is much easier than a bitter argument after years of quiet accumulation. The slow nature of resentment is also the opportunity. If it builds through repeated moments, it can also soften through repeated moments of fairness, follow through, and direct communication.